See, it is recorded. Okay. Ski Mask Collective. This is officially episode 20. I had complete different plans for this episode, but I was out of town for 1 day, people, 1 day. And when I finally reached phone signal Sunday evening, I had 95 Twitter messages, screenshots. This list was released about racist comics. Really, it's just a list of people who garnished attention from being actually funny. And now that these people know they'll never work clubs or anything like that, they got to make hit pieces because they think it's the right time to do so. Which, you have comics out there that go on shows and stuff, ex-porn stars, and now they're threatening with what? FBI? This is crazy. Didn't they threaten you, Kevin? Like, didn't they say they were going to get the FBI involved in some of these tweets?
The FBI, I'm actually just had dinner with the FBI, and
Did you?
not happy. Yeah, they're not happy.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, what happened was I didn't even know anything was happening until I don't even remember. I think yesterday I did my podcast with Stevie Lewis, and then I guess it started on Saturday. So then I was like, I mean, I didn't really, if I don't know the people, then I don't really get involved because it's just too much, And then somebody made a second list, and then people were blaming me for the second list.
Right. It was Joe Exotic made that contemporary list, basically opposite of what the first list was. And I think people started saying that you're behind the Joe Exotic account. It's just,
yeah, people said I was Snoop. People said I was talking to myself because they're like, look, he's talking to himself. And I was like, I barely know how to work my AOL account. So,
yeah.
I'm not good at this. And then also, I wish I had time. It's not even that I don't have time. I just don't have the desire to get involved with these things. So when I was involved, I still just didn't do anything. And people were trying to, all day long on Saturday, people were trying to contact me through Messenger. And I was like, the only one who does that is Jimmy Martinez. So I knew something was up. And so I just ignored them. And now I was getting all these Facebook friend requests yesterday. And that's why I tweeted. I put a post out. I go, I can't accept Facebook posts because I don't want people contacting me and going like, what are you doing? Because I wasn't doing it. I didn't do a single thing. And then I finally asked Joe Exotic what's going on. And he basically said, he put the website up and then he took it down because people were blaming me. But he was connected to MLC. So that was the connection. And then people assumed I was involved. Like I was getting texts from people and I was like, man, I just don't care. Like I don't like a racist comic. Like, like I said, Gino Visconti's racist. And other than that,
you did say that.
Yeah, I did it when I was going to the CVS on Friday night or Saturday night. I said, yeah, Gino, and I looked great, by the way, in the light, like it was dark out, but I was near the train station, so I looked amazing. So it was all worth it. But I was just saying, I'm like, okay, Barry Ribs is racist, and he lives in Elizabeth. You can't be racist and live in Elizabeth, New Jersey, because it's very dark there.
But we can agree, Gino's racist, right?
Yeah. I'm not even kidding. I know people think I'm kidding. I'm not.
Well, I mean, so Joe, all this shit started, late Friday, I think, when the list was released. And then I went out of town Saturday morning. And when I lost the phone signal, I had to, we went to this dirt bike thing and I had to ride through the trails to catch a signal. And when I did, Joe Exotic was pissed off. He was mad about Barry being on the list. So he started immediately reporting and screenshotting and figuring out, who's behind this thing. And I think that's why he made the other list, just to start some shit, because it's going to make other people jump on board like this Jacksdale. Also, now I'll tell you, I've heard this chick on a Real Ass Podcast. I think she did your show too. There's a lot to be said about if somebody does multiple shows and it's not a hit and nobody remembers your name. You know what I mean? Like, you can go on a show and be funny and people will probably remember you. But she claims to make hundreds of thousands of dollars being a stripper before she got into comedy, but she lives with her parents. So it's just, this whole thing is crazy how she just wants to dox all the actual comics that are going to be working, and she's not, I guess.
Did I make the second list?
I don't know. Is there going to be a release of a second list? Because that first one was a little blotchy, you know, like it was like, oh, that guy's on there. You know, like you say, Gino Bisconti would have been the number one name, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, and then people, and like I said, Luis Gomez was mad he wasn't on the list. So, you know, it's a lot of people. Lists are tough because even if they're bad, people want to be on them. And then even if, you know, and then so people are left off, people are put on. You can't really win with lists. I did a list of I did a voting poll of who's the top MLC fan.
Neil Sucks.
And even that was a mistake because then people were like, oh, I'm not on the list. And then I was like, lists are stupid. So with this, I was like, this is, you know, this is just some dude who, you know, who's like, oh, I'm going to start trouble, or, you know, it's a good time to start trouble, I guess, if you're black, but it's, I don't even know. I don't know if it'll help. I don't know if people are going to be mad at me. I don't even care. Like, I'm serious. Like, I wish I cared because I thought like, oh, maybe if somebody, I always think it's like bad. And then I'm like, no, it's probably good. I'm getting a lot of friend requests from people who don't even, now it seems like people aren't even like being trying to troll me. Like, real people are getting friend requests. So I guess any attention is good attention. But with this, I was like, I mean, are people going to confront me in comedy clubs? And then I'll just punch them because I'm like, I have nothing to do with this. I mean, it's amazing to me that people think I don't have better things to do than like make a website. How would I make a website? Chad, you don't make a website. You couldn't even get this audio to work on your Zoom. So you can make a website, Chad?
I never said I could make a website.
I know. I'm just saying my point is it's hard to make a website. So how would I make a website and you can't even make a website? You're younger than me and you got a lot of free time. Yeah, I mean, you can't just – I'd have to get Bruce, and I'd tell Bruce, and Bruce would be like, what are you wasting your time with this? I'd be like, yeah, you're right. So to think that I made a website and then I took it down – first of all, even if I made a website, I wouldn't know how to take it down.
And then it'd
be stuck in place forever.
So she responded, I think because she has since blocked everybody that follows you or you follow, I think, because somehow I was blocked and I haven't even had a chance to. It's at Jax Del Osso, so JAXDELLOSSO. And now she started sending out links to everybody's DMs before she blocked. That was some spyware, so she could locate the IP addresses where people were.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, that was the thing that the Schmeckel guy put out. He said to any of my boys out there, if you get a DM from Jax Del Osso with a blind link, Brian, don't click on it. It's spyware. Yeah, she's sending spyware links in the DMs to hack phones. Bitch is tripping. And so Jax came back and said, haha, I was just tracking your IP address so I could file a police report. So now she's one of these woke comics who were probably part of the movement, but she's still going to be filing police reports over something said on Twitter. So it's really backwards, and she's just having a meltdown now. And one of the Facebook comments, she says she was hurt when people pointed out the fact that she was a stripper before a comic. And then a day later, she was talking about the fact that that's why, let's see exactly what she said, but she was, yeah, I'm just tired and being a comedian no longer appeals to me. I've been nothing but attacked by men in and outside the industry for not wanting to date them, for being raped, for existing. I'm done. And then she comes back and says, yeah, you know, I make all my money from men and I love it. It's like, you're having a meltdown because you can't choose which side you want to be on.
Yeah, you know how women be. I can't really talk because my son's here, but you know how women be.
Yeah. It's so this Joe Exotic. I mean, he is mad on her first appearance. Oh yeah, she did. Oh, she had a highlight here.
Hey Kevin, what's going on with your brother Neil? I usually don't get involved because I used to be friends with him. But why is he the voice of black people right now?
He's the voice of a generation.
Well, didn't that happen before? Didn't that happen when this, you know, The last protest before this one, wasn't he the voice of black people on Twitter?
I don't know, but then I heard Michael Che called him out for trying to be the voice of black people.
Good. He should.
Good.
Yeah, I hope he calls them out more.
Michael Che should beat his ass.
Oh, that would be.
But then yesterday, I don't know if he tweeted yesterday or before that, but he said that, you know, when cops are kneeling in the protest with protesters, that's like a wife beater, like being nice on someone's birthday, being nice on her birthday. It's like, it really is nothing. It is nothing. It's Neil's the like king of bad analogies. It's just really amazing. Like even when you watch his stand up, he'll always make these analogies, and it's like he'll be like, that's a sweet analogy, and I'm like, it's not. And so he's like, I got a sweet analogy, and then he put it up, and I was like, it's so dumb because there's nothing like it. If a guy who's a cop, it would be like if a guy who was it'd be like if a guy beat his wife, and then another cop was against that. Then Neil would be against that guy too. Neil would be against the guy. Like I'm sure Neil knows some white beaters. He's friends with a lot of black dudes. So he would get so if one of these guys was a guy who knew a wife beater, and then he was against that and supported with the women's side of the story, Neil would be against that. It's like the weakest analogy ever. And I'm like, that's when I get embarrassed. I think everybody gets embarrassed.
Yeah,
like,
it's
like
cringy
all
to
his
watch.
black comics are like, comic friends are probably like, Neil, first of all, it's not your business. And like I said on my show the other day, the award-winning MLC podcast, is that you can't, like, white people can't know what it's like to be black, and just like men can't know what it's like to be women. You can like sympathize with them and empathize with them, but you can't understand really what it's like. So stop pretending. It'd be like if something happens to a woman and I get all like, yeah, I'm with you ladies. They try to do some mansplaining about how women feel and what it's like. It's just stupid. They actually have to come up with like a mansplaining term just for Neil. So when he tries to explain blackness to everybody, like
If I was a black guy,
be like, maybe they'll call it kneeling because it's a double entendre because it's kneel and then it's kneeling. So it's like, when you're kneeling with the police or kneeling with the protesters, and then also kneeling when you're trying to explain blackness.
if I was a black guy, I would be pissed that he's talking on my behalf. Like, you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
I would too. I would send him a text. I'd be like, you got to stop.
Like, would you be more mad because he doesn't act like that, when there's not anything going on, but as Michael Rappaport does. So whenever this shit starts, he just turns on his blackness, times 10,000. And so do black people get mad at Michael Rappaport too? It's like, where's the line drawn? It's like, I don't know.
Well, it's like when politicians all of a sudden, when something happens and they all start grandstanding because they're just doing it to try to show how wonderful they are. And like real people see right through it. But it's like, even today with the George Floyd, people are like, oh, this is gonna change everything. It's like, that's what they said when they had the school shooting in Connecticut.
Exactly.
So it's like, is it? I mean, I know it's good for the news and pretend like it's going to change everything. Like, okay, let's see what it changes. I just hope it hurts Neil in some fashion.
Who knows if it will out in California? I don't even think they're responding as much to the protest as normal. It's probably so weird over there. I mean, look, I know people down here who could care less, and I know people down here who don't like black people. I know people down here, it's just like the whole issue, it's been the same. When the protests first started, way before Trump was in office, it's the same protests that are going on now. It's like, is it ever gonna, like, why are you marching around? Is it gonna make them sign any bills? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like
now it's just amplified because we've been trapped in our homes for 2 months, so they were ready to do anything.
Right. Well, so many people out of work too. It's like, yeah, we can go protest every night this week instead of just one. And you got 19-year-olds.
Yeah, And who doesn't need free stuff? I mean, come on, let's be
Yeah.
serious.
Like I was saying to somebody else the other day, like if I'm 19, I'm like, I ain't got shit going on. I don't have a job. I've never had a real life experience. And my friends knock on the door, say, hey, we're going to go throw a couple Molotov cocktails and we're going to get away with it. Of course you're going to.
Because we have masks on.
Yeah, they know they're going to get away with it. There's like.
Yeah, if you're wearing a hood and a mask, who can really pick you out of a lineup? I mean, It's impossible.
It's crazy. At my day job, we opened this new ice cream parlor in part of it, downtown. And last Thursday, the windows were smashed out, like $10,000 windows. And so the next day,
who'd you go looking for? Bobby Kelly?
No, I was looking for Bob Biggerstaff. But so that happened at like 1:12 in the morning. At 6:45 a.m., the news has already come out with a statement saying 2 white males not affiliated with the protest knocked out the windows of the ice cream parlor last night. I didn't even compile all my security footage until late in the afternoon. And what I saw on my cameras, which I have the only camera that faces it, were 2 Hispanic males, and I found them 2 days prior in the lobby of my building with "fuck Trump" signs. So they were clearly part of the protest. Now, we brought this to the attention of some of the officials in town, and we were told to kind of keep quiet about it until the protest died down, because the protest coming downtown every day, 60-70% of those people are spending money at the bar, the ice cream parlor, all the food shops. So it's a big money bang. The next day they moved it to the mall. Following day, right back downtown. It's just like keep protesting. You're spending cash. It's nice. But I have the identities, and I will release. I mean, even though I can't.
Say them now.
I can't. They're not 18. I mean, I really wanted to dox them. I was going to do a whole show.
Is one of them Michael Blatter?
No, but speaking of Michael Blatter, he came back to us on Twitter. I got to get to the bottom of that. I have his cell phone number. Somebody had sent me, and I really got to call him this week. But so much shit's been going on, so I thought I would let it kind of die down and then hit him real hard, out of the blue, and make him respond. Since he's responded once on Twitter now, I really think if I was to attack, not on social media, but personally email. I got like 4 email accounts. I'll send him one off each one of them, and he'll have no choice but to respond. I also got.
I think the whole country should be more mad at Brian McCarthy than this police officer.
Yeah, see, I went down. When they were protesting here in my town, I went down there with the ski mask, and I was asking people if they liked Dos Equis, and when they said yes, I made sure it was known that the guy who claims to write the commercials is a known racist, and I carried a picture of Brian looking like Hitler and the picture when he fought Gino, and he's got the swastika on his arm. And a few people said they wouldn't be drinking the brand anymore, so I'm gonna tweet that video at Dos Equis. This weekend, I'm doing live comedy on Galveston Beach. It's going to be hopefully 10 comics. I need like 6 more. Nobody's signing up. I don't know why. And so it's going to – the Galveston's packed right now, so I will be announcing on my amplifier, turning the mic up, talking about Dos Equis. So it's if they don't release who wrote the commercial, it's going to be bad for the brand. What do you want me to say?
Well, you're going to be doing stand-up and just talking about Dos Equis?
No, I'm going to do my act, but like there's going to be a live podcast following. But like in between, when I'm bringing people up and shit, I'll probably just ask people on the beach about Dos Equis, especially if I see them drinking it, And then I'm gonna have 2 blown up pictures of the Brian McCarthy. I'll be like, this guy claims to have wrote the commercial. Maybe I should find some old tweets too. I think Joe Exotic has tweets of him talking about writing.
People are gonna be like, we can't drink Corona now. We can't drink Dos Equis. Like,
well, yeah, but I'll be like, it's fine. Just drink the Corona, but the Dos Equis, like, there's a big racist movement in the country right now. This thing could catch on, and you may get a blind eye if you're caught drinking it.
I was saying before the show that when I was watching the Epstein thing on Netflix last night, that he kind of reminds me of Brian.
Yeah.
He'll say anything to anybody, and nobody really like investigates it. And then as soon as you investigate him, you're like,
he's gone.
Oh, this guy, he's a creepy liar.
Yeah, but Brian's not as mysterious as Epstein was. So, if you're that mysterious, you really don't have to respond. But at this point, Brian has responded so much to the shit. It's fun because it's coming again. He's got some fucking burner accounts. Every now and then I'll have a burner account randomly like one of my tweets, and then I'll try to find it, and it won't be there anymore.
I don't know. Brian's not too good at this stuff. I've seen him in action. He's really kind of blind. Yeah.
He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
He'll say, after we used to do a show, he would go, Twitter, one of my notifications, and then they would all just read them out loud. And tweets sound really loud when they're read out loud to you. They're like, "Eye in the sky said, nice show," So
yeah.
So they sound real. Joe Exotic thinks you're stupid. So it made no sense. But Brian didn't know what to do with him because he can't really respond. Normally he has to like read it back, and that feels stupid. So he's not very good at any of this stuff.
But he's got to have somebody helping him out, like you say. Him and Bruce are getting really close now, right?
He doesn't.
No,
he doesn't. Nobody would even waste their time with it. You know, Bruce is busy with a new lady, and he's just, you know, he's doing what he do. Bruce, you know, it's like that's a new Playboy name. It's just you Brucing it up. So Bruce is killing it in many boroughs, and so he don't have time for that. I think he talks to Brian a lot, but he's not going to help him do a burner account on Twitter. I would bet a lot of money that that's not true, but that he's not helping Brian. And Adam would never do it because Adam's too busy and he wouldn't get caught up in it. So unless his wife is doing it, but I don't think she can do it. Maybe one of his children's is doing it, but I think that's a long shot too. But that's possible now that they're all home.
Yeah. Because I remember on the YouTube, somebody commented on the video that I put out with Chad, and half the words were misspelled. And so I screenshotted it to save it for later because I was at work. And by the time I went back to it to see if there was any more comments, the account was gone. I think I still have the screenshots from that. But the words were misspelled just like somebody would if they were reading the tweets into their phone. So I was like, man, that's just a little odd. But.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, maybe that's possible.
Yeah.
Why was he saying good things about? What was he saying? I mean, bad things about Chad?
No, I think actually, I think I may still have the screenshot. They weren't bad things. He was actually bashing me.
Brian doesn't like Chad.
Yeah, I know, but he won't respond to Chad either. Every time because when he was first blowing my phone up, I'd be like, dude, call Chad. You know, he said it. I mean, I'm just putting the shows out. I don't even know how to edit. And he was
I would love to see Chad. I would like to see Chad and Brian get into the octagon. You know.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
With no gloves on.
Zero gloves, just bare bone boxing.
He did say in the text that let him know next time I'm in New York, so he'll come to one of my shows like in a threatening manner. I go, are you threatening me?
Who's he gonna bring with him? I mean, is he just gonna show up to the club? He does that often, doesn't he? He just goes out to the cellar and hangs out.
Yeah. Did you report it to the police?
I'll read exactly what he said to you, what he texted me. I think I screen captured it and sent it to you, but let me pull it up right now just so we can have it as a reference point.
Yeah, this is just insane. But let's see here.
Ryan Tech, he goes,
Jack.
Chad, you frozen?
Is he trying to find it? I don't think he's frozen. Is he frozen?
I think so. He can't. He's not reacting.
Don't tell me Brian McCarthy's hacking now. Would he freeze when he's trying to find the text messages? Fuck.
It's so funny. He's just frozen, like looking at it.
I know. He's probably
that's a new headshot for Chad.
Yeah. Well, let me take a picture of it real quick.
Chad can't get. He can't get his Wi-Fi.
See, that's what I'm wondering, because it kind of looks like it would be that kind of vinyl that a gym would have. I wonder if he just posted the poster of his podcast up behind him, and he's actually
wherever he goes.
Yeah, he's at the gym, but they let him put up flyers for his show.
Yeah, because he like wears Better Call. He's like Better Call Saul. Wherever he goes, that's his office.
Yeah. He puts up his information. It's crazy.
Step into my office. It's a steam room. He's like Fonzie. I'm happy to.
He slides on a black T-shirt before he does the show, but in reality, he's still got a white towel on.
Yeah.
Stands up to try to fix his audio. His dong just pops out.
He's on break from Panera Bread.
I wonder where he's picking up the Wi-Fi signal. I was surprised Barry Ribs didn't respond as much to that racist comedian list, because they were really hitting him hard.
I think Barry's to the point where he's like, I just don't know what's going on anymore. So
yeah,
he just gets, he figures he can't win. I mean, that's why I didn't get involved. I'm like, I can't fight with people. Like Chad used to say to me when we first started, he would go, hey, when I first started dealing with Chad, he goes, hey, can you start a trouble with so-and-so?
Oh, yeah.
And I'd be like, I go, no, I can't really. It was always like a female comic, and I would just look like a bully.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I can't get into the fight unless there's like a legitimate fight. So
Right. And
I don't have it in me, and then I look like an idiot. Like I'm fighting people. I don't even know what the real fight is. Like we're fighting. Like I'm a racist, and I have to say like my wife's black, and
right. I mean, yeah, but like you would
that.
have to come to your senses because she can say whatever she wants because she doesn't have credits. So she can say she can be anybody. Anybody on that list, you can go look up their shows, know what they're about, listen to their jokes because they have credits. That's something she'll never have. She'll
What
never.
are you talking about?
The lady that put out the list. She's what, an open micer, right?
It's a dude, I think.
No,
Neruda?
The original list, the Roxy.
Neruda Williams. That's a dude from Harlem.
It's a dude, huh?
Yeah, Neruda. Everybody thought it was a lady, and
Yeah.
then I looked into it. It's like, no, it's a dude. He's a dude he's a dude from Harlem. He runs the Harlem Comedy Festival.
Well, who is Roxy Hayes?
She's just somebody that's either friends with him, and she tweeted something about me, and then and then I looked her up, and she's like an open micer from Houston or something, and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't. I said, I just can't. I can't. I was gonna even ask. I didn't even ask Bob Biggerstaff. She's because I really don't care. I don't. It's like I'm not gonna get dragged into their stupid fight, and then they can take shots at me. That's why people are trying to contact me through Messenger on Facebook. I know what they're doing, so I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't. I'm not gonna play because I know they just wanted like me to pick up the phone, and then they'll start berating me, and I'll be like, listen, I can't. I don't know who you are. I deal with bigger people than you. Sorry.
Yeah. See, that's the thing with me. I'm afraid that this list may have scared open micers and small time comics from doing my Galveston show because I had Bob send out my flyer to a few different places, and I haven't gotten a lot of hits. And I think that's the reason why. If they go and look on my show, and they've probably seen this list by now, everybody that's done my show is on the list pretty much, So
yeah, but that's possible. But if it's true, it's pretty sad. I mean, you didn't do anything.
Yeah. I'm just trying to.
But to say someone's a racist, what do you got to do to be a racist?
I don't even know. Like it used to be, you would have to get caught in a hood and robe, or you got to get caught picking it up from the dry cleaners, setting crosses on fire and shit now. But you just go and you get caught on video eating some fried chicken or something like that, and you get called a racist. It's like, or you don't agree with them and you'll get called a racist. It's
yeah, like if your politics, like if you tweet something that's addresses like some kind of the demographic that has something to do with black people, even if you're making a joke, they're like, it's racist. Listen, if these people ran comedy, then there's no comedy because at some point everyone's gonna get people are offended by everything.
Well, honestly, man, I think that's what's happened to the scene in Houston. There's the only club down there that is has guys like who work and who are actually funny. It's like the secret group. There's so many other clubs that aren't even on the highlight because people go to these shows and it's just it's literally just a room of wokeness, people talking into a mic, basically yelling at you, telling you what you shouldn't be doing and shit. It's
right.
Fucking, it's like, can I do some time? And they're like, oh, what's your act about? It's like, don't worry about it. I'm funny or not.
Right.
So
no, I think a lot of whenever I see stand-ups now, especially if they're younger, they go up and they, the whole thing is like, I'm a lot of condescending jokes because that's self-deprecating jokes because they're easier to kind of get away with it because people can't say, oh, you're racist or you're homophobic or you're misogynist. So
right.
It's the same act. Like I'm a loser. My parents are
losers.
I'm
depressed. I grew up with
money. Yeah, I know I'm wearing dumb clothes and my haircut stinks and it's
I owe money for college.
It's like it's not funny or entertaining.
Yeah.
It's it's supposed to be all advanced comedy, but it sucks. Like I watch it out of just curiosity. I'm like, well, they're saying nothing because they're afraid to say anything because they'll get blackballed or get all their friends will say they're like bad people.
And then you get enough people saying that shit, you get banned from the YouTube,
Yeah, but then you watch it and then you're like, wow, this is just so sad because it's like, if you're such a loser, why would we waste our time listening to you? You know, this whole thing, like, You know, and then, you know, Gary Goldman and people like that, they're like, I'm depressed. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, you know, maybe have a cup of coffee or go for a run or something. But this whole thing of like, I'm a loser and please, you know, but follow me. I'm a right. 'Cause
Right.
I'm a
Yeah. Yeah. Be
lovable,
sure to follow me.
yeah, I'm a lovable loser, but yeah, I have no self-esteem and I'm fat, I'm ugly, and nobody will fuck me.
Yeah.
And
It
then you're
seems
just like,
like
oh
a
my
lot
God,
of
it's so
you know, a lot of you know, like you said, the younger generation, and I'm a younger guy, but I don't feel like these other guys I see. They crave attention so much because they never got it from their parents. So they grew up on the phone. And so now they're like, oh, I'm just going to go up here and talk about how shitty I feel. You're not actually depressed. I know real depressed people, and they don't have any social media accounts. I mean, these
right. They
motherfuckers are
don't
messed
even
up.
right. They're thinking about how they're going to kill themselves. Like,
Exactly. You know, they're trying to decide if they want a meatloaf or a bullet for dinner, you know, and that's a real
right.
thing.
Right. So they're not caught up in like, oh, you know, I think I'm sad. I have low self-esteem. Anybody that says they have low self-esteem, it's like, I mean, I might have low self-esteem, but like, I never even think of it's like people think about low self-esteem are like narcissistic and
Yeah, they think it's a
creepy, and they usually the opposite of low self-esteem. They're like, they're all they want is they want attention, and they want whatever, but you know, people with low self-esteem, I don't think they talk about it because it's too.
no.
It's because they don't have if you have low self-esteem, why are you on stage?
Yeah,
Why
well,
are you,
yeah.
why are
Number
you on
one,
stage?
if you have low self-esteem, it's not attractive. So therefore, you know, if you've always had it, there's no way you have real fucking stories. You know, a lot of guys.
You wouldn't get up on stage if if your low
Right.
self-esteem was that low. You would just never get up on stage. You would just sit in Starbucks and pretend. But this whole thing of like, you know, looking for sympathy and you're a loser and people will like you if you're not aggressive. It's disgusting. I mean, I want to get a gun now. I'm really getting amped up.
Well, hey, I'll hook you up, man. I'm down here. But that's why I wanted to talk to Chad. I think I'm gonna move to Tampa. It's gonna be a slow process, but I got to get the fuck out of this town and just Texas in general. There's nothing left for comedy here. Yeah, but like that's all it is it's overrun. But I hope everywhere is not like that. Otherwise, I might have to choose a different thing to do. You know, it's fucked up.
Yeah, but Tampa is that much different than Texas, or it's the same?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, like I'm starting to believe, just from being an outsider perspective, that Florida and places down there is going to be the next hotspot. Like, I mean, really, how much longer can New York City put up with this shit? The city's on fire. You know, the coronavirus, people want out. So why not go down, you know, to up Florida? Because there's so many big cities there that there's plenty to do, you know?
Yeah, you might be right because, you know, New Yorkers always head to Florida, you know? I mean,
right.
if you check, you know, I remember I was doing a gig at West Palm Beach and like, there's so many flights from New York to all the different cities in Florida every day. It's just everyone's coming and going. And yeah, people want out of New York. So, you know, we were going to move to Florida and then we kind of talked ourselves out of it because the kids thought it was too hot and everything. And it is hot, but but if you get older and you just stick in New York and you're like, let's just get out of here. And like you said, there's a million different cities that there's at least 15 different cities in Florida that you could pick to live at.
And not only that, they also have clubs, so it's not like you got to fly all the time if you don't want to be a traveling comic. I mean, you can, you know, I plan on still holding a day job and just doing shit on the side. I mean,
that's what Chad wants to do. Chad just wants to be Florida's comedian.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, Florida's greatest. I mean, it's great that we're on good terms now. Hey, there he is. What happened, man?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
We were laughing. Are you at the gym and they let you put up a poster in the background?
No, I'm at my place.
Oh, okay. We were like, because it kind of looks like that gray vinyl that they would have at in the waiting area of a gym. I was like, maybe they're letting him put up his posters now.
Yeah, we thought it was like everywhere you go, you just put up your poster and behind you, so it's like your office.
It just pops up anyway. People are like, what? What's going on?
When you go to Starbucks, you're like, hey, step into my office.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my traveling studio wherever I go.
Yeah,
Ski Master just saying he thinks Florida's going to be the new hot market for comedy because everybody from New York is going to move to Florida because, you know, that's where they go anyway, and everybody hates New York now.
Yeah.
Well, I've been getting texts from a lot of comics about, because Bobby Kelly was just down here last week, and everybody wants to know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, what's going on?
And what do you tell them?
It's 50% open. I was at Snappers over the weekend, and it was great.
Yeah.
By the end of the night, nobody gives a shit about social distancing or
Thank
any of that.
God. Yeah, that's the way it is here too. It just seems like New York is going to get so every time something happens, it gets out of control. So you're just going to have whiny kids that in my generation who think it's cool to live in a place like that, but yet they also hate real jokes. You know, you just got to go on stage and talk about what a loser you are. What the fuck is that? You know, so I think it's going to transition down to a place like Florida where there's so many cities that you can travel back and forth to if that was your thing, you know.
Oh, Chad, you know what? I just realized because Chad's gonna open up at a comedy club. It's just a matter of time. And you know what you call it, Chad?
What?
Florida's best.
Florida's best.
Florida's
Because
best.
that could mean anything. It's like, what does that mean? It's Florida's best comedians, and it's like
Yeah.
Florida's best everything. Florida's best chicken parm.
Yeah.
Everything. It's like the way Trump does it. Like everything's great, everything's beautiful. It's Florida's best. It's this. Oh, would you like a gin and tonic? It's Florida's best.
I was talking to Godfrey about that. Like the way Trump speaks, you almost when you say those positive things, you put it out there. You're almost trying to put it into existence. So if I keep saying I'm the greatest and the best Florida comedian, it's gonna happen.
Well, that first episode I heard it, I was like, I messaged you. I was like, you got to stick to that, man. There's something behind it. It's funny because if you catch enough attention with it, and somebody asks, like, hey, I'm visiting your town. I'm flying in from Oregon this weekend. Let's go see some comedy. Who's Florida's greatest comedian? People are just going to be automatically saying Chad Zumock, you know?
First of all, they can't prove that he's not.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because I bet if they look him up on Twitter, he's got a gig the next weekend. So they're like, okay, you know, he's working. He's got to be the greatest. Let's go there. Let's see him.
I forget the guy's name, but there was a guy from the South. You think that you used to always tell me stories about him, but he would say he's the funniest comedian in the world or something like that. And then after a while, people just remember him as, yeah, that's the funniest. James Gregory, I think was his name, but he was like a Southern comic. I think he was as they say down south, a homosexual. And but that's what he would say. He was like the something greatest comedian, and you know, then after a while, people are like, yeah, he's the greatest comedian, the southern state's greatest comedian, something like that. And after a while, you just go like, you don't even fight it anymore. You know, you're like, yeah, he is. He's very good.
Yeah, it becomes part of it. And if you have a manager, like it's included on all your posters. Anytime you do anything, you just be sure to plug that Florida's greatest comedian. It'll catch on big, you know.
And like, let's say you're about to do radio, and the DJs are like, when we come back, Florida's best comedian.
Exactly.
And then they're like, you gotta listen. You're just gonna be like, who is this guy? And then even the fact that you call yourself, it's like when Don King used to self-promote himself. After a while, you just get amused by how the guy self-promotes himself, just like Trump with the Trump Steaks and Trump University. It's like it didn't all work, but then he became president, so some of it worked.
Yeah, didn't he have a Trump vodka, but he doesn't even drink? Wasn't that a thing? Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny. It's like, did you try your own product? Or?
I already have 6 minutes, brand new minutes of Florida jokes. Just Florida
Awesome.
jokes.
Hey,
I'm just gonna write a whole hour of Florida jokes.
How long do you plan on staying in Tampa for the foreseeable future?
I mean, I'm liking it right now. I don't know, you know.
Because I've been planning a move for quite a while now, and I had 3 different cities an option. So I used to work offshore, and one of my boat captains lives right outside Tampa. So it's gonna be a slow process, but I'm gonna start the process in January, and hope to have everything wrapped up in October and permanently be living in Tampa. So there's the official announcement. Ski Mask Host is moving to Tampa, Florida, October 2021.
I very well might move to Park Slope.
You should. I bet there's a house going to go on the market soon when they realize they paid a guy a lot of money who didn't write something.
There's also some information out there that he's renting too. He doesn't own the house.
Yeah, that's true. That is floating around out there, and that's believable.
Who started that? I like that.
Somebody was looking into it. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't give out their name until the full report is disclosed.
I don't think he rents, but whenever at some point there was video of people looting in Park Slope, and I was like, please just show his house. Please show it on fire. You know what I mean? Just something, or like him getting dragged through the streets by the looters or the cops or anything. Because it's just funny. You know, it's just funny. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
I love it.
Kevin, are you ever going to do an episode with Lenny or Brian or anyone?
I mean, people are kind of clamoring for it. I mean, Tom Cassidy is like, you got to do a show with Brian. I go, I don't even know. I mean, maybe when that's stage 4 of the pandemic comeback for New York City, when they can open Broadway and comedy clubs, maybe I'll do a show then with Lenny. Lenny won't do it with me. I think Brian would, because Brian's such a narcissistic Epstein kind of a dude, but Lenny won't, because Lenny has integrity.
I think Brian would make it a ploy. Like, he would say no at first, and then, you know, you'd keep itching him, and he would just make a huge deal about it because he knows it would slowly garnish more attention for him. And then next thing you know, he's back on Twitter.
We offered Lenny money to do it, and he wouldn't do it.
Really? Paying an ex-co-host to come on. I mean, even at that point, would he even be good on the show, do you think?
No, he would be like, I'd rather not talk about it.
Yeah, it'd be a boring listen, and I'd take the headphones off.
Kevin, we had a good thing going, Kevin.
You ruined it. Now you've talked so much trash, the bridge is overly burned. And then you trashed.
People do think like, oh, you ruined that show, it's like, that's the show. That's the show that keeps moving on. It's like, if I was still stuck with Lenny, imagine how horrible that would be. And it's like, you got to, unless you have like the perfect combination and you're making money and the producers are like, whatever. Otherwise, it's like, I don't understand why, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm supposed to keep doing the show with Brian, even though I don't want to. And even though he's like a Benedict Arnold and Lenny was a no talent hack.
Well, that's the thing too.
I'm supposed to stick it out. I'm supposed to stick it out with Jimmy Martinez, even though at any point he could just throw me up against the wall like a rag doll.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd be here if you stuck it out with Jimmy Martinez. You know, he flipped his lid once, and they say that when you do it twice, sometimes it's a little worse. And I don't see it going much further than that. With Brian, if you would have let him back on the show that day after, you know, he traded you out that time, then he probably would have thought in his good mind it'd be okay to go ahead and jump on board rumors and shit, you know. Then he'd really be a traitor. So you got to cut it all off. You know, maybe you'll do a reunion show with him one day. But as far as letting him go.
If I was nice to him then what am I telling him? Like, I didn't need him that bad, you know. And it's like I said, it's more interesting if he's not here. Like, at this point, I've gotten much more mileage out of not being here. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You've had plenty of shows just trashing him and his lies and.
No, but like even the videos people make, the Hitler videos, like
those are great.
You know, I mean, it's worth it for me to just, because otherwise you just sit there, you just kind of spin your wheel, right, Chad? You've done radio. After a while, it becomes like the same bit and the same. After a while, it's like, okay, well, you know, and then, unless you're getting really good guests to break it up, but for the most part, I mean, Opie and Anthony, you get sick of each other. They were making a lot of money and they still got sick of each other. So I don't think it's easy. I think it's got to be like there's got to be one guy who's clearly in charge. Or else you get like, you can't do the show. I mean, Lenny said I couldn't do the show without him. So did Brian. And then, you know, and then I keep going and they're like, oh, damn it. And then,
it'd be like
Brian's talking to himself in his podcast parlor. And Lenny's doing Four Corners in you know, in his little apartment. And I'll give out the address at the end of the show.
Nice.
Anyway, no, but they like, you can't do it without me. And then I do, and then they get mad. So, you know, but if I was making money, I wouldn't have done it. If I was Opie and Anthony, I would have stuck it out, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's just a given choice. Did you find it odd or kind of funny that that Anthony Cumia was the bottom name on that list, and the fact that he was on the list? It's like the title.
I'm doing my impression of Brian.
Oh, nice. The title of the list was don't book these people at your clubs. I don't think you're going to be booking Anthony Cumia to perform stand-up at your club. So I don't even think they did research. They just conformed a list of guests probably that have been on Compound and just they tweeted it out. You know?
Yeah, maybe. But also the fact that maybe they were like using Anthony Cumia as like the headliner. Like, this is, you know, he's the last guy, but he's a big name. But
Brian Anthony's kind of hack at this point. like every time they call him racist, it's kind of a
Yeah,
hack.
yeah, yeah, it really is. Because if you know him like this one, it's like, really, are you gonna get anywhere with it? He's chilling in
Yeah,
his house,
played
just
out.
doing his show.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not like you can protest him in the streets, because you're probably not gonna find him again.
That'd be funny if they showed they showed a riot in New York, and then you saw Anthony Cumia just beating up black dudes.
No, he's just walking out of a pizza shop, like not even turning a blind eye.
No, he just joins the cops. He's like, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
it seems like you guys are having a good time." I mean, somebody showed me a video today, and it was really good. PJ Flanders and guys would be looting stores, and the cops would show up, and then the looters would all come running out, and the cops would just like take swings at them like they're like at a baseball bat, like a
Yeah,
baseball.
yeah, and
They
they're
would
not
just
even.
swat. They would just hit the guys, and the guys would keep running. And sometimes the guys would hit the cops coming out. They would have like a stick or something to break the windows, and then
Right.
and then the cop got knocked over. So it was, I don't know what was being. I mean, I know it was being accomplished. They were stealing stuff, but as far as like, could they stop it, or no one was getting killed. So the guys, the looters, feel like they have nothing to
lose.
lose.
They keep doing it,
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier. It's so
And
funny too.
the cops don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the cops basically are just like, we can't stop them, so we'll just hit them.
I don't even get that either, because they're not even looks like they're not even trained to do it. I used to look into
They
the
can't
different
arrest
options.
them. They can't arrest them because there's too many. So
I know, but
they're literally just really just trying to bruise them.
If you
Because
look
they
into like how to become a cop and shit like that, it looks like a lot of extensive training. That's why I'm always astounded to see how many of these guys are out of shape. They're out of breath. They can't swing a fucking club. It's like, did you even play sports when you were a kid? And who they hiring? I mean, sometimes you even have to. Yeah, exactly.
No, but you know what it is? They when you first become a cop, most places you just take, you have to run a mile in under like 12 minutes, and then you never have to do it again.
Yeah.
So, but I was just amazed that their whole plan was, we can't stop the looters, we can't arrest them, so let's just hit them with our clubs. So I was like, all right. I mean, it's amazing. So it was funny. They should have had like it was almost like they could have had like funny music.
Yeah. Like hardcore rock music's going on. It'd be a great way to promote a show.
Guys coming out, and the cops just swinging, and then they'd swing at the next guy. But there was like 10 or 20 guys running out, and 10 or 20 cops. And they just try to hit them, and that's it. That's their punishment for looting. So,
I have a solution to all of them. All you have to do is hire all black cops.
I just said that. I said that last week.
Oh, you did? Did I copy your take?
No, I thought you listened to my show. That's why.
No, there would be.
Tom, I quit listening. Couldn't hear it. I didn't want to listen to Tom anymore.
I said if you hire black cops, then it's like then then you can't say like cops are racist and they're profiling us. It's you eliminate.
That's what's so funny about it is the news always, like down here, if you just watch Fox News, it always shows the bigger cities and shit. Man, I can go about 30 miles from here, and I can guarantee that if they hired all black cops in that town, it would not go over very well. And that's what's really going on, outside of watching the TV. Why
wouldn't it go well? Why wouldn't it go well?
I mean, you're talking about real racists, not somebody,
No, I'm not talking about where you live. I'm talking about where mostly black people live, and mostly quote unquote black people commit the crimes. You hire mostly black cops. It's like if you live in a Mexican neighborhood or Hispanic neighborhood, hire Hispanic cops, because then you can't say the cops are profiling. You lose that argument. So if you hire black cops in the inner cities, then they can't say, oh, the cops are systemic racism, because what do you mean? They're black. They're arrested you because you committed a crime, not because you're black.
But I can attest too, sometimes they don't give a shit about the job. I was downtown Houston one day when I lived in Galveston, I think, and I had an 8-ball of cocaine in the back seat of my driver's seat, and I hit this Arabic guy, and they caused a huge scene. So this cop came up, and he could give two shits about the situation, because it was crazy. I was like, man, I'm gonna get searched. I'm fucked. And I left the scene and continued on my way. It was great. So
yeah, but you're talking about one talking about one situation in Galveston, Texas. I'm talking about like the real world, not the 8 balls in Galveston.
No.
I'm
It was
talking about,
it was in Houston when it happened because most
no,
of your
I'm
inner
talking
city
about.
cops.
I'm talking about if you get cops who are, it's like, you know, if you get cops that are black, then. But the problem is cops don't want to. Black people don't want to become cops because they're Uncle Toms, then they're snitches, then they figure
Right. The family turns their back.
They'll kill their family if the cop arrests some gang guy. They'll kill their family. There's a lot of they say it's systemic racism, but it's just systemic issues with the black community and how to police it. And so the easy answers are what they give on TV. But the reality is there's no easy answers.
No.
And even if you're in Galveston with an 8 ball.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was years ago.
Was Carlos Mencia there?
No, I haven't heard of that name in a long time. No, he wasn't there. But Galveston is run by a lot of people that would resemble Carlos Mencia. So
they said there was this comic. I think he's dead now. I forget his name, but I think he was pretty big and. What the hell was his name? Not Kenny something. Anyway, but he had this bit. I think I saw him do it one time on TV where he goes, I'm driving into town, some Texas town. I'm listening to the news and they said there's an influx of Mexicans, and they showed a picture of my car. So it was. I ruined the bit, but basically the gist is Texas people are like they've had it with Mexicans, so there's always like, oh, here come the Mexicans.
See, they say that, but it's really not that big of an issue. It's
I think his last
every time some girl gets
his
murdered.
Last name was Lopez or something. I don't know. Anyway,
Lopez.
I think he's dead. He used to be friends with Geraldo, who's also dead. So a lot of people are dead. But
a lot of people croaking.
Be careful out there. But I'm just saying, it's like, debating that there's some simple solution.
Right.
There isn't, because if there's white dudes who are cops and arresting mostly black dudes, there's always going to be an issue.
Yeah, and if there was a simple solution, there wouldn't be protest every 2 years. You know what I mean?
Simple solution, they would have come up with it.
Yeah, exactly. So the world will burn. People will continue to steal shoes, and it'll just be a mess. Chad, you got anything to add on that? They looting down there?
I got a good Mencia story that involves Gino.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
So, hey, Kevin, who was that podcast you just did with that Kevin? What was his name?
Dombrowski?
Yeah. Kevin Lebrowski was opening for Mencia at Gotham. And me and Gino went over there. And Mencia came over afterwards. He goes, hey, let's go sing karaoke. So we went to a karaoke bar. We walk in. Mencia tells us, he's like, whatever you guys want, it's on me all night. Drinks are on my tab. So Gino and I jack up Mencia's tab. We're buying drinks for girls. Like, hey, come on over here. And we left. So Mencia probably had about a $5,000 tab because of us.
Yeah, I remember Gino told me that story when I saw him at San Antonio. What's
the end of the story?
That we jacked up Mencia's tab and left him with it.
Did he pay it? Do you know if he paid it? Gino said he didn't pay it.
I didn't pay shit. I was buying drinks for everybody.
Nice.
No, I thought he was gonna be like he was pranking you, like you guys had to pay it. You guys got stuck with it.
Yeah, he was like,
that
no.
would have been a better story.
Yeah.
Next time you tell it, end it that way.
Yeah, you could be like Brian McCarthy, just add a little emphasis to it, not a lot.
Yeah, and then the cops showed up and you resisted because you were drunk, and then they tased you.
Yeah, then they reached in your back pocket and they found your wallet and they paid the tab and they let you go.
Oh, then Joe Rogan paid the tab.
Yeah. You called Joe Rogan. You said, hey, can I do your podcast?
Shut up. He said, this guy's a thief. And then he paid the tab.
He paid.
And then they banned him from the karaoke bar, Joe Rogan.
Wow, banned.
That's a better ending, Chad.
Yeah, that's good. That's gold. People might look into that.
Hey, Kevin, are you banned from Jim and Sam? Because there was something on Twitter saying you're banned from Jim and Sam now.
I thought you started it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I started.
Hey, what happened to Sam Tripoli? Is he off Twitter?
Yeah, he's gone.
What did he say? Do you know?
Who knows? With all his dumb conspiracy theories, he's just causing problems.
Yeah.
Plus, he goes after. He's a political. I don't even know him really, but now he's more of an anti-Trump guy.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
he probably gets into fights with people about politics, which is never ending. You can fight about politics literally 24/7.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, you can have a show just doing that. I mean, 90% of people.
yeah,
do.
but also on Twitter, you can just literally just go on. There's always someone new to fight with on Twitter about politics, even more than race, because race gets gets pretty nasty pretty quick. But politics, they try to, at the beginning, they try to be like intelligent about their case. And then after a while, they're like, you just go fuck yourself. I want to fuck your mother or something like that,
Do you see this? There's this new movement now because they can't ever stop at just what's going on. But they say July 4th, it's going to be all countries matter. Have you seen that?
What?
Yeah, it's this new movement going on with it. Because, if you look at some of the pictures on Twitter, you can see the white dudes, they're holding signs that say fuck white people and shit and don't really make a lot of sense. And then those are the same kind of people that are going to be behind the July 4th all countries matter thing. So they're trying to push, I guess, any kind of original ideas out of the picture.
A guy in Philadelphia, he worked at the biggest paper there, and he got fired because he put out the headline, all buildings matter, because when they were looting the buildings, he said all buildings matter. So he got fired. People, you can't even mess around with this stuff anymore.
That's what I mean. Like, if this was even in the early 90s, comics would be able to have a lot of jokes, but you just can't mess with that. It's like, fuck, you can't say anything.
No, you can if you're a comic, but if you have a regular job, you can't. I mean, if you're like a white dude at a regular job, you can't say anything because you could get fired. You could literally just get fired for, they could say, we think you. I mean, they could use an excuse to fire you. Like if they don't like you and you say something, they go, well, we didn't like what you said or what the implication was, and now you're fired. So you'll end up saying nothing, and then be like, what's wrong with Jeff? You're like, he's afraid to get fired. He just sits there, eats his lunch by himself, never goes to the birthday celebrations in the cafeteria because, I mean, sometimes you could accidentally graze someone's buttocks with your hand or whatever, when you're passing them in the hallway or something. And I'm just keeping it clean for my kids. But, I'm just saying that it's, I mean, I don't know. If you have a regular job and you're not Indian or something, or if you're just a regular white dude, you're almost going to get fired. Sure to get fired for something.
Yeah, yeah. It's my job's
tired
nice.
Of all this white guilt. I mean,
yeah.
I got when they had that Blackout Tuesday or whatever, when they ever made their profiles black. Any trend, it doesn't matter. Ice bucket challenge.
Yeah, I was talking about that shit. Yeah,
I'm not doing it. And I happen to have a podcast that came out with the other Duke, Tom Wolpath from Dukes of Hazzard, and I put the photo up of him being on the podcast. I lost like 700 followers because they thought I was being racist because the General Lee. I was like, no, my podcast came out that day. It just happened to be on the same day.
I uploaded a picture of the Dropkick Murphys Blackout album, and I lost like 30 followers too on Instagram.
You know what I did? It was dumb because remember I did that White Guys Matter comedy tour.
Now people are screenshotting it and shit.
Yeah, because I never took it down because I liked the picture and I just thought it was funny. So now people are using that to prove that I did that one. It was called a tour, but we only did one show.
Right.
And it wasn't a hit. And but I left it off. Now people are using it. People are using it against me. I'm like, hey, what did I do? It's been out for 2 years. Where were you guys before when I was trying to sell some tickets?
You can't fucking win, no matter what. If they search hard enough, they'll find something, to even spin it around. I mean, you're never gonna win. You can't attack them. You can't. And if they get enough following, because of course they're never gonna get banned from Twitter. It's just like,
yeah, we'll be all right though, because white guys still have most of the money, but. Listen, I think what we're going to try to do is, we got to open our own clubs and
yeah, Chad,
let's do, or maybe I'll open my own club with Ken Mosca, and then we'll do like we'll have like men only. We'll have men only comedy clubs.
Men only nights. Yeah.
So that's a great idea I just came up with, and then you'll get a lot of protesters outside, which also will help sell tickets. But it's like men only. I remember there was a comic, Jenny Jones, I think her name. She did Ladies Night, and then she ended up getting a TV show because it was this she would just have ladies' night. It was all only allow lady comics, ladies in the audience, and then
that's promoted because men are
became
shit.
like a thing. It became a thing because it was where women could just talk without men judging them. So now we'll just have a thing where it's just dudes,
just guys, just fucking around,
and then just have like Friday night late show or one of the Saturday a good night, only dudes.
No drink minimum. Matter of fact, there's a drink.
I mean, maximum. I come up with so many good ideas. It's amazing. I'm still in poverty, but
it's gold. It's gold.
Only dudes. Wait till next week at the Comedy Store Wednesday. Only dudes.
Dudes only. Ladies not allowed. You will get asked. Turn around and leave the club.
Somebody steals it from me.
Cut ladies, the wait in the car. Yeah.
Cut the Neil. Only dudes.
I like how
and then they don't let Neil do the show because he's such a vegan cock that they're like, Neil, you're not even a dude.
Well, right. The line's so long because guys want to get in, but they can't decide if Neil's a woman or a dude, so they just have to politely turn him away, and then they figure out later what's really going on.
Kevin, I always tried not to get involved in the Neil shit, but after seeing him lately, you need to double down on him, man. He's out of control. I'm Team Kevin all the way right now, and I'm publicly saying it.
I thought you were Team Kevin the whole time, right?
Or did you Team Kevin?
Yeah.
But I always they're brothers. I don't want to get involved now.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So after the shit he's been tweeting, you're done with him.
This is Chad's way of renewing our vows.
Oh, gotcha.
See, that's a good analogy.
I like it. Yeah.
That's a great analogy because I come up with good ones where Neil's like, this is like if a cop kneels with some protesters, that's like the guy. I'm like, oh my God. And people, oh God.
All right, well, we'll put it out there right now. Then
it's embarrassing. It's embarraing, and I think that maybe I will double down.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe Exotic.
I have to talk to my mom first, but I think I might. Yeah, maybe I'll get Joe Exotic and those guys.
Dominic, the Schmeckel guy. Go through all the history, anything you can turn around or any kind of.
Neil, they should probably because we're running that stuff with Brian and Bernie.
Yeah, exactly. We got to find hit piece on Neil.
Yeah, go to Neil's show, get Neil's clips of Neil's show, and just have a website of just
Brian
McCarthy and Neil and
right.
Where it's just like a new video every day to just consume.
Kevin, you need to go ask your mom to see all the childhood art, the stuff that he was drawing in early teens that she may have held on to. There could be some gold in there. If he had the 24 box of Crayolas, he could have made the characters different colors. There's anything you can spin around.
When we played sports in the backyard, I mean, I was way older than Neil, but sometimes we would have 3-on-3 football or whatever. Every game ended with Neil crying and going inside and my mom coming out and go, what did you do to him? Every time. And we're like, we didn't do anything. He's a fucking baby. And now he's crying to his mommy. So he's still doing that. Like, Mom, did you see my post about what I said with the Black Guys Matter and and the thing about the thing with the wife beater? Did you see that, Mommy? Because did everyone see that? But I think it's coming to fruition. Like, people have just had it. They're like, okay, dude. Like I said yesterday, I go, Chappelle's not even on Twitter, so why are you trying so hard? It's like everyone knows where you are at this point.
Yeah, I don't even.
He only hangs out with black rich people, celebrities. That's it. He's not hanging out with some guy pushing a mop.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. He doesn't have friends who work the late shift at McDonald's.
Yeah, he doesn't know any people who.
It's like what I used to say about hot women who marry older guys. They always marry famous rich guys. They never marry a retired plumber.
Right, and then when they get with somebody who's their age and emotionally stable, it's a problem, because they're so used to these older rich guys.
You know what I would call it? What I just said
happened to me.
An excellent analogy.
Yeah, it's fucked up out here.
No, because seriously, if it's like hot women who marry older, they always marry a certain rich guy. I said it to Kumia one time. He goes, "Well, maybe they just like them. Maybe they just." He goes, "Maybe they just met and they just kind of hit it off." I go, every time they always they always hook up with a rich guy, not an old smelly guy who doesn't have any money. Just to Chad's point about Neil hangs out with rich black guys, not poor black guys. He's not hanging. He's not hanging out with guys at the bus at the Greyhound bus depot in San Antonio. I've been there. It's not great.
It's not
So
a good
he's not looking for friends there. Good point, Chad. You're back on the team.
I like it. Earn rewards is what we do. Hey, Kevin, we were
Chad, you're the starting point guard after that one. That's a good one.
We're talking about me and a few of the fans. We're going to hold the first ever MLC awards. What do you think about that? We're going to give away I still need to come up with all the categories and shit to figure out where to host it.
But I think this has been very productive because Chad's right about the Joe Exotic thing.
Yeah.
We got to get Neil. We got to troll Neil a little bit harder with all this phony.
There's got to be something out there.
Pompous clips about how. I mean, who was telling me the other day that Neil? A lot of times when Neil was doing his show with Moshi or whatever his name is, yeah, he would have black dudes on, and he would basically telling black dudes how to be like what to do, like giving them black advice or how to be more black or whatever. He likes to give people advice, so it's like. Let's get this when he's being arrogant and pompous and blah, blah, blah. But you guys, I got to go because I got to go to the CBS.
We'll wrap this one up.
But we did an hour. You got your money's worth.
Yeah. I mean, listen up. You know, I'm not going to be doing maybe one more show this week and then be gone for the weekend. And, well, actually, I
like how even Rebel podcast hosts, they take the summer light. You know, they're like,
it's
getting warm out. I don't like to wear my ski mask all the time. And
the thing is,
I got to take my lady to the water park.
Yeah. Well, I went out to the Stick Saturday to meet up with Travis, and I brought the ski mask. We got a lot of good videos. We did some fishing, and that got pretty interesting. I caught a big largemouth bass, and then when I was showing the fish to the video, actually, I'll include it at the beginning of this podcast, but I talked about how the fish resembled Brian McCarthy by having such a loud mouth, like when he came on my show. So we did a lot of that stuff. This weekend, we'll be recording the whole Galveston adventure. So if for some reason you're listening to this, fucking, come do the show. I don't give a shit.
Adam, is this too close? Adam, is this too close?
Adam, we know when you're watching. What do the fans see?
Adam, what is this? And the best part is when he gets like this and then it gets frozen. What an idiot!
All right.
But really, we got to get more. I'm gonna tweet Joe Exotic. We right.
You'll
we
hear
need more
shit.
videos. We need more videos with Neil being a jerk.
More videos with Neil. Yeah, Neil's the next target. You guys get out there. Let's find the hit pieces. You know what to do.
It's like
send
going
them
back
our
to
way.
basics, where it all started. Let's go back to where it all started.
Yeah,
Neil.
yeah. Let's start over with Neil, and maybe by the time we get done with him, Brian would have done something stupid by that time. And we could really focus the show one step at a time, and who knows who's next. I mean, you can always have a target, Misery Loves Company. Sign up for the Patreon. Of course, let Kevin feed his family up there in that concrete jungle that is New York, Jersey.
And that's a good idea, too, having the MLC award show.
Yeah, we're going to host. I'm going to figure out where to host it. I might do it in a neutral location where all the fans can drive if they have money. I don't know.
Like the Astrodome?
No. It won't be in Texas. I'll fly somewhere to do it that way because I know most of the fans are on the East Coast. So,
is that still there, the Astrodome?
No, they keep saying they're going to tear it down, but they never do. They keep holding flea markets in there every weekend.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's a mess when they get the whole flea market. People they could fit a lot of people in there. Let me tell you that.
That was like the most amazing thing when they built it. They're like,
yeah, I know, but now it's literally garbage. It just holds up a city, and it looks like a sore thumb. You got real stadiums. And those are even a mess.
They put graffiti on it or anything, or they're not allowed?
No, you can't get close enough to the outside to really do graffiti because they still got gates up, out there. But who knows what the inside looks like? They keep threatening. I don't know when they're going to tear it down. Every year they say, "Oh, we're getting ready to tear it down." They never do. I don't know what they would build there if they did. Where would the flea markets go? Back to the neighborhoods? You know what I mean? Keep it there for a while.
When I was in Houston with Brody, he got us a tour of Minute Maid Park, so we got to go around the whole park the year they won the World Series, and I got to hang out there the whole time.
Yeah, it's a good park. I went to Game 3, and that's always a fun park to go.
You know what they used to call it?
What?
Enron Park.
Did they?
Yeah, it was when it opened. It was Enron Park. You know about Enron, Chad?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
No, it was they were a corrupt thing, and they were like one of the most famous corrupt. It was like basically like Jeffrey Epstein of if you were a corporation, just lying, stealing, cheating, but people are like, hey, Enron, I think it was Enron Park or Enron Field, and then they're like, hey, we're not going to call that anymore.
Matter of fact, when I got pulled over by that, or when I hit that Arabic guy with the cop situation, it was right underneath Highway 59, right next to Minute Maid Park. Oh, look, I'm drinking Minute Maid. What the fuck?
No, but then they're like, hey, maybe we should go with something a little more wholesome. So they went with Minute Maid.
Yeah.
People are always going to be drinking orange juice.
Yeah, it's actually it's a nice looking stadium on the outside, which I think a lot of cities have a problem with. They build these big, massive, nice stadiums, but they look like shit from the outside, so it makes you not want to go.
Yeah, it's too small. I went to a game there. It's too small. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. All right, everybody. God bless. Ski Mask, good work. Thanks for having us on.
No problem. Chad, I'm going to send you a DM. I got a few questions for you.
Okay.
Open to that.
Chad, do your plugs.
Sit Down Zumock podcast every Tuesday. Sign up for the Patreon. Thank you.
And Travis, tell your brother Travis that Gino's a no. What do you use? What the Elmer Fudd used to go? He's a low down.
He's a racist. He got caught.
No good. He's a no good low down racist. And I was watching. Speaking of Patreon, I was watching somebody. Joe Exotic put up the link of or the video of Brian's Patreon. So Brian doesn't even. He's just the same show. He just stops it.
It's so bad.
So the Patreon starts with, you can tell they've already been talking. He goes, so Joe DeRosa, so you do comedy because you love it or because that's what you do? And I'm like, oh my God. Joe DeRosa's like, seriously, Brian, you're going to interview about my love for comedy?
But it's like, begged him to get him there in the first place. So
no, but they already talked for an hour.
Yeah.
They're already got nothing. He's probably like, we're going to get to what really Joe thinks about when we do the Patreon. We're going to find out what Joe really thinks about stand-up comedy.
Hey, you should get Pat Oates on your show, man. I had him on last Thursday. He's a lot of fun. He said,
where's he from?
Connecticut, I think he lives in.
You a troublemaker?
No, but he could be. You know, he's a lot of fun to talk to.
Lost Chad again. Ski Mask, we lost Chad again.
Yeah, I know. He's he does Compound a lot and shit, but he said he would do your show.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, I think he did a pilot for Compound.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. They say their y'all show are a lot alike, so it'd be fun to get y'all together.
Who's a lot alike?
A lot of people from Compound and stuff are saying that his show is a lot like when you had the Burning Bridges on there, but of course not the same. But y'all have that same mentality.
I'll ask what the Compound cucks, what they think. I'll probably do something like that because I would like to mix it up. You should get Patty and Carrie on your show.
I'm going to. I just the schedule.
They said they would do it.
I know. I'm gonna get.
They don't like to work. They don't like to work in the summer either. So you guys have a lot in common.
No, I mean I'm going to Galveston to do work. You know what I mean? I know you are, Kev. All right, bud. I appreciate you coming on, and
all right, man.
We'll talk soon. Man, take it easy.
All right, thanks.